Hey, money makers, what's up? I'm Kalila Reynolds, and welcome to another episode of Taking Stock Live right here on Kalila Reynolds Media YouTube channel. We look a little bit different. We may sound a little bit different this evening. We've been having some technical challenges, but we push on. The show must go on. I want you to tell me where you're joining us from. Let me know what country, what city, what town, what community you are in. Let me know in the chat, because Taking Stock is worldwide. We got a great show coming up for you this evening. So let's take a look at what's coming up, followed by what's hot in business. And come on, let's get this money.
How would you like to own a home on the beach? TCF Holdings is developing a new beachfront housing complex in St. Thomas called Suncoast Beach Club. How much are the homes going for, and what else does the company have in store for the future? CEO of TCF Holdings, Kevin Frith, will join us to talk about his business journey and his latest project. And the analysts weigh in on the latest market developments. Knutsford Express's first quarter results are out. How did they perform? And NCB Financial Group has announced the date for its EGM. We'll discuss. But first, here's what's hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart. Investors can finally trade their iCreate shares again. The stock resumed trading last week after being suspended by the Jamaica Stock Exchange for over a month. iCreate was initially suspended because of an extended delay in the publication of its financial reports. The suspension was extended because the company did not have a mentor. The suspension was lifted after iCreate named investment banker Kalanda Hutchinson as their new compliance advisor. The stock lost 14% to start this week at 88 cents per share. It will cost commuters up to $55 more to travel now following a fare increase. The government last week granted a 35% fare increase to public transport operators. Minister of Transport Darrell Vaz said the increase will be done in two phases. The first phase, a 19% increase, went into effect on Sunday. An additional 16% will go into effect in April 2024. Vaz said the fare hike was necessary to offset the increased costs of doing business for public bus and taxi operators. According to the Transport Authority's fare schedule, the increase will result in an additional $20 to $55 per passenger, depending on the route. The International Monetary Fund has slightly downgraded its outlook for Jamaica's economy. In its latest economic outlook, the IMF predicted that the local economy would register growth of 4.3% this year, down from its previous prediction of 4.7%. The agency said while Jamaica's economy is rebounding, there are still some significant risks, with COVID-19 being the main one. According to the IMF, renewed waves of COVID-19 could disrupt tourism and trade. The agency said inflation also remains a concern. Tech giant Microsoft says it's prepared for a long flight with the United States Internal Revenue Service. According to the IRS, Microsoft owes nearly $29 billion US in unpaid back taxes. Microsoft said the tax fines stem from an IRS audit done between 2004 and 2013. The IRS began auditing the tech company as part of its crackdown on large corporations using offshore tax havens. Microsoft said it will be pursuing an appeal within the IRS, but the process is expected to take several years. What's Hot was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
My name is Trisha Gay O'Connor, and I'm an attorney at law. I attended the Real Estate Investing for Beginners course. It is a topic that has always appealed to me. I came away with a strategy as to how to invest in real estate. So I thought it was something that was definitely a goal, but a far-reaching one, but it seemed much more attainable once I attended it and heard the strategy.
And you're better off, honestly, just buying the property, holding it, and as the value goes up over time, you can access a second mortgage or a home equity loan, as they call it. You can rinse and repeat that strategy and end up with 10 houses, because all you do, you buy one. Even if it's your first house, you're living in there, you buy one house, price goes up over time. Take out a mortgage against now the increase in value, use that to buy a second house. I'll tell you guys, because you're in here, I'm going to pay up on the money. Exactly how I did it.
As simple as it seems, no, I actually never thought about it. And so for me, I have a plan. I didn't expect to come out with a plan, but I came out with a plan. So I'm extremely happy. Thank you very much, Kalila, and thank you so much, Keisha. The information was presented in a very clear, understandable way, and I am grateful. This is the start of me investing in real estate. So guys, definitely join the Money Mission. You won't regret it. Take my word.
Real Estate for Beginners is available on demand or with a premium membership to the Money Mission community. Join now at moneymission.mn.co. The link is in the description.
How you doing?
I'm successful. How are you?
I'm good.
What's funny?
You said you're successful. What, that mean you got business?
Yes, I mind my business.
You probably too much to handle. You got a minute?
You got money?
Yeah, I got money. What you want?
You got cash out?
Nah, not cash.
PayPal?
What you need right now?
Venmo?
I don't really got no digital payment.
Zelle?
Nah.
Have a nice day.
Hey, bro.
This segment of Taking Stock is brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, insurance made easy.
Hey, welcome back. So it's time to get into our main conversation. But just before that, let me shout out those who are watching us. Let me see where you guys are joining us from this evening. Michael is ready and waiting. That was the first comment this evening from 4:55 p.m. Okay, you've been ready and waiting, Michael. Veronica was also ready and waiting. And then we had David in Mobay. Big up yourself, David. Jermaine, all the way in China. Wow, I think you're our furthest away commenter this evening. We got QB in Grand Cayman. We got Colette in Kingston, ready to get the money. Ingrid in Bull Bay. Antoinette's in Arizona. Yard is in Fort Lauderdale. Humbles in Negril. We got Christopher in Fort Pierce, Florida. V. Anthony in Atlanta, Anthony in Portmore, and Romain in Mandeville. So big up to everybody who is joining us live this evening. Glad to see it. Happy that you could join us. So Kevin Frith is a name that you may have heard in the past year. He's actually a serial entrepreneur who's been making some money moves recently, including the development of a beachfront housing project called Suncoast Beach Club. You saw a little teaser of it in the earlier segment. So he's here to tell us more about his journey as an entrepreneur and of course about this latest project. He's CEO of TCF Holdings. Here's Kevin Frith. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Kalila.
It's your first time on the show and I'm happy to have you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Under good circumstances. Not controversial circumstances. We're talking good things. So Suncoast. But before we get to Suncoast, I want to know a bit about you. So I read in the introduction that you're a serial entrepreneur. Tell me a bit about your background.
Well, I started my first business venture was in high school at about 14 years old. I started out in the transportation business and
Ooh. You run taxi in high school? What was that?
Yeah, I was running taxi when I was going to high school. It was a part of what I had to do at the time. And then I went into making Jamaican souvenirs that I was doing for the export market mainly. We'd also do like gift items for graduation and stuff like that. And then I went away for a little bit and I came back and I have a company called Ideas Execution, which we do permanent branding and build outs. And now I'm into real estate.
So going back to high school, 14 years old, you had this transportation business. What motivated the creation of that business? Was it a needs-based thing where you had to hustle, or was it just you just had that entrepreneurial spark from early? You just loved it?
Yeah, well, I grew up seeing my father being an entrepreneur, so it was kind of in me from then. But starting out in high school, I had to do something in support of my own self. So that was like an easy solution at the time, based on everything that I needed to accomplish.
Where'd you grow up?
Well, I grew up in I was raised in a community called Jonestown, but then I left there at age 14. And I was at Waterloo Road, which is across from Devon House, and that's where I spent most of my teenage age.
Interesting. All right, well, let's talk about the venture into ideas execution, which would have been what, your first major business?
Yeah, it's my first major business. So coming back from America at about 2009, I needed something that, I didn't want to get into something where I'm dependent on the retail market. So one of the things I was trying to do is to find a product that a corporate company would be interested in. I developed a countertop idea, and I was trying to sell it between Red Stripe and Red Navy, and Red Navy bought into the deal, and it's going well from there. I'm doing this now from about 2013, but it was under another name called Bar Central, but that company is no longer. I changed over to Ideas Execution in 2019.
Why'd you change the name?
So what happened is that I'd sold shares in Bar Central to another company at the time, and then that deal went sour, and I had to basically start over in 2019.
So it wasn't just changing the name, it's a whole new company.
It's a whole new company.
How did you come up with that idea to do branding on bars and buildings? Had that been done before at the time?
Well, not to the extent that I'm doing it. I think before me there were some people like it was being done on us. Well, my focus is mainly on community bars. So before it wasn't to the extent that I'm doing it, but since I've got into it in 2013, I've really maximized it.
Okay, so some of us would be familiar with the name Ideas Execution and Kevin Frith because there was an attempt to sell the company to iCreate, and well, we all know how that ended up playing out. But what is the status of that company now? You still own it 100%, and do you intend to sell it still? You still looking for a buyer?
Well, yeah, I still own it 100%. No, I don't think I'm looking to sell it anymore. And even though right now my focus is in real estate, but I am more looking to put a manager in place, but not to sell the company anymore.
Unless somebody makes you an offer you can't refuse, right?
Well, probably, but I'm really not looking for a buyer right now.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, let's talk about Suncoast because this is the big property. This is a big development, and I assume this is going to be the biggest biggest project you've ever undertaken. Yes?
Definitely.
Well, tell us all about it.
Well, so Suncoast is it's a 91-acre property where I'm building affordable luxury. So it's the concept behind it is to basically give homeowners the opportunity to live in like a resort style environment. When you get home, it feels like you're living in a hotel kind of setting. It's approximately right now with the existing road conditions, it's about 25 minutes from New Kingston, depending on your driving ability. We're building out in 3 phases. Phase 1 is 133 units, and the total unit count is 396 between all 3 phases. There'll also be a commercial center to it, which will have like a urgent care facility, restaurant, supermarket, and other convenient stuff like salon, barbershop, everything that you would need for your own convenience living in the community.
Okay, so for those who have trouble visualizing, we actually have a video. So let's run the video.
Greetings, my name is Kevin Frith. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TCF Holdings Limited, development company for Suncoast Beach Club. Yeah, Suncoast Beach Club is a residential development at 12 miles St. Thomas. We'll be building 396 residential solution in 3 phases and approximately 15,000 square feet of commercial space. Some of the amenities that will be included are like mini golf course, jogging trail, gym, and of course we're on the seaside. You'd have beach access, just to name a few, because there will be several modern amenities being offered. What you're seeing now is a design that we have worked on and improved it significantly to matching with the age that we're building. Being St. Thomas is a developing area, there's a lot of development coming around Suncoast. To our west, going back to Kingston, there's a massive hotel project that's underway or about to start. Our east, there are several other planned development that's about to start as well. We're basically like the first out the block, and we're making sure that we set the trend. We'll not bring nothing to the market that we're not comfortable with. And Suncoast is a place that I'm building not just to sell, but I see myself living in, so I have to put something on the ground that I would want to live in. We're doing all we can to make it a good development and looking forward to it. The completion of the highway from Harborview to Marantay basically would take like a 15-20 minute journey, whether from Norman Manley International Airport to Suncoast or from Emancipation Park in New Kingston. This type of development, the scale type of amenities, is the first of its kind in Jamaica, and I would say even across the wider Caribbean.
Fifteen, 20 minutes from Kingston, beach access, beautiful beach access, and lovely design. It looks like you struck gold with Suncoast, Kevin.
Yes, thank you very much.
So how did this deal come about? How did this deal come about? Yeah.
Well, I was involved in a project, a real estate project in St. Anne, and that one ended, and I decided that I wanted to do something on my own, because at that time I was literally just an investor in it, so I didn't get to put my own creativity behind it. And then I realized that the highway work would begin from Kingston to St. Thomas to Portland, so I decided to venture out that side in search of properties. And a friend of mine told me about this place that's up for sale, and I went over and met with the person selling it, and the rest is history.
How long ago was that?
This was 2020, right after leaving Bar Central, because I left Bar Central about March 2020, and I went straight into seeking out the property for Suncoast.
So 3 years. People feel like thing is overnight development, 3 years you've been working on this project.
Yes, day and night.
And that, when you said 2020, that's pre-COVID or after COVID?
No, during COVID. I think COVID, the lockdown started in March 2020.
Right, it did start in March. At the time, did they already start building the highway?
No, it was just announced that it would start.
So you deliberately looked for opportunities in St. Thomas at that time because of that announcement?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a clear indication that that side of the market would have picked up significantly. And as it is today, it's an excellent decision that I've made, because I couldn't afford to buy this property right now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So people, you have to have the foresight. When thing announced, you can't wait, because now people are trying to look and buy things outside, but like you said, you can't afford it no more. So we have quite a few questions from the audience. Let me take some of them. The Denton family wanted to know, where exactly in St. Thomas is the development?
It's 12 miles, right where it's on the border of St. Andrew and St. Thomas. It's right where the 12-mile post is.
That's Bull Bay? Is outside Bull Bay?
Yeah, it's right there.
This is where there used to be like a paintball thing there.
That's the property I actually purchased.
I've been there before when it was paintball. Das wants to know, will there be NHT units?
Well, so I can just answer that by saying what the starting price will be. So right now we're at starting at 360,000 US dollars for a 2-bedroom townhouse.
That doesn't sound like NHT price range. I guess that answers your question, Des. All right, Lily wants to get in your business. Lily says, I understand having lots of businesses, etc., but really, how do you even look to afford this? Like, how does one put together funding for such a massive project?
Well, I would say, I'm in business for quite a while, so this is not my first business venture. So I understand how to get the right people on my team, and with the right people, they're able to put the different structure in place to get it done. So it's a matter of experience and having the right team.
Denton wants to know who are the principal owners. I guess apart from yourself, do you have other investors?
Well, it's myself, and I have a business partner. His name is Lance Thomas.
Okay. Lushand looks like he's ready to buy. He wants to know, what's the process like to get one of those luxurious beach clubhouses at Suncoast?
Well, you can check out our website, suncoastbeachclub.com, or we have you can check with the brokers that we're working with, Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Remax, and Value Levy. You can reach out to them, and it's also on the MLS, so you have quite a bit of options.
So are the homes, they're not ready yet. They're under construction now. At what point will it be ready? What's the expected rollout date?
Okay, so we're looking to complete phase 1 by December 2024. And then where our model unit is actually going to be completed within 2 weeks, but we're going to be releasing videos, but our official opening where persons can access it will be after the first week of December, because we're having our official grand opening in the first week of December.
This year.
Yeah, this year. For the
So,
model unit, that is.
so you're pre-selling. That's for the residential. What about the commercial side? You said you're also doing commercial properties.
Yeah, the commercial will be as a part of phase 2. So the commercial space will be ready in 2025.
You're doing a hotel too?
No, there is a hotel that is they're supposed to be building a hotel to the west of my property. That's on the Bob Marley Beach property. But that is not yet under construction. My understanding it will be starting very soon.
Chantel says you were hunting in a downfall. Wow, love it. And we have Jamaica Nice wants to know, will there be solar on the homes?
Yeah, so it is wired for solar, and we have a company that we have partnered with to provide solar for the units, but it is optional for the purchasers. You can add it from the initial stage, so it become a part of your mortgage payment, which would be significantly less. As it is now, the solar package is about 18,000 US, and that would almost eliminate your light bill by about 98%.
Yeah, we all know the benefits of solar. The comments are lighting up. People are interested. They want to know. So Ryan says, good luck with your development. I presume it will be a gated community.
Yeah, it will be a gated community. In my easy reference of it, I'd say it is more a modern version to Long Mountain Country Club, and with 24-hour security patrol, and it's a fully gated community.
Nana Sense wants to know, who's your target market at 300,000 US?
Well, my target market is for any working class person who wants, somewhere decent to live, that you have these type of amenities. Because quite frankly, when you look at what exists now in the market, the pricing is quite reasonable given what it costs for an apartment in Kingston right now. So it's really for persons who are working and want somewhere nice to live.
No, I agree. So Kyle actually said 46 million starting price with an exclamation point. And then we had Garth saying price is high for the area, too much competition in Kingston 6. How do you respond to that though?
Well, I don't know about the competition in Kingston 6. What I've been focusing on is to just ensure that I deliver a quality product for persons who want, something outside of an apartment to live at a reasonable price. So I've just been focused on that.
No, listen, I agree. There's people are selling apartments right now for that price in Kingston and Golden Triangle area. So for you to be offering townhouse with amenities at that price, and it's not far outside Kingston, it's a lot more quiet and peaceful. I don't think it's unreasonable at all. So how close is it to the beach, by the way? You said it
So
has beach access?
yeah, we're on the beach side of the road. So it's literally you walk through the community down to the beach.
Plus beach access. You're not getting that in Kingston. Ryan wants to know, how is your development hurricane and storm surge resistant?
Well, the property is about 400 feet above sea level. And our design basically protects the homeowners from that. We have hurricane-proof windows and all that to ensure that even though based on the elevation, but we still make sure that we put the different measures in place.
So it's a steep walk down to the beach then?
Yeah, so it's more like, we'll have a lift as well, but it's more the walk down to the beach is more like an exercise. But there will be a lift as well for persons who don't think that they want to walk all that stairs, even though it's good for you, but there will also be a lift.
Nicholas wants to know the cost of the 3-bedroom units.
The 3-bedroom duplex starts at 480,000 US dollars.
Okay, close to $500,000. Next question. The questions are coming in fast and furious. Dejani wants some business advice here. He or she says, how was the process? What was the process like putting together the project and the team? What is needed for a young aspiring entrepreneur looking to enter the development field? What advice would you have for a beginner?
Well, how I look at it is that I don't try to recreate the wheel. So I basically, shop around to see persons based on previous work that they have done, and if it was done successfully, to see what are some of the complaints that homeowners might be having now, whether it could be an architectural issue or a civil engineering issue, and just eliminate any of those professionals who was a part of something that did not satisfy the homeowner. So in my case, I've really dig through quite a bit of persons to come up with the team that I have now. And I'm very much satisfied and, just looking forward to deliver these units.
Nicholas, I swear, I don't even have to do this interview, Kevin. The viewers are asking all the questions. Nicholas wants to know what measures are being built in to deal with the water woes. That area has water issues?
I think, well, as far as I know, so what I mean is that one, we're going to have storage facility for water based on our approvals with NEPA and our own plans. And as well as the government has addressed the water issue in the area by the highway. And it's not that there was any major water issue, really. It's just like in Kingston, whenever there's limited rainfall, there's a water restriction, just like everywhere else. But we will have our own storage facility, and the government has put in place measures to deal with additional water supply in the area by new pipelines on the highway.
Okay, next question. Well, this is a comment. Sean says 46 million is cheap. Have you guys seen the places for 46 mil? This is a dream. And Jamaica Nice says, no beach in Kingston 6. And that's a fact. Dwayne wants to know if you're going to have any tennis courts.
Oh, definitely. So we have several amenities. We have mini golf court, tennis court, badminton court, a football field, basketball court, a doggy park for persons who have the dogs, a kiddies area, like I think it's called a toddler park. There are several amenities. I would have to pull up a list now to name them out. But
Okay.
they're all on the website at
What's the website?
suncoastbeachclub.com.
Okay, easy enough to remember. Devon, I don't know if you've decided this yet. What will be the HOA cost?
Well, right now it's about $250 US.
Monthly.
Yeah, and this covers, so what I mean is that just to make sure that we maintain the good look of the community, the maintenance costs also cover maintaining the lawn for each of the units. So because we want to keep the community in that, in that look and feel where you feel pleased going home every day. There's nothing to basically be a deterrent of you wanting to go home and feel like you're living in the luxury that you initially bought into.
Right. Place has to be maintained nicely. Chantel has a very important question about security. What security measures will you have in place to keep the scheme safe?
Yeah, so we'll have our 24-hour security, and there will be like a patrol car that patrols the community 24 hours. And it's gated right around, it's fenced right around. So it's pretty much, and the area within itself is not a bad area.
Somebody want pickleball court. Well, I don't know why everything, man. Put it in your own yard. Next question comes from ATS Services, he says, or she says, very good project. Do non-nationals require alien license to purchase property in Jamaica? Do you know the answer to that question?
No, I don't know the answer to that question, but I don't think you need that.
Okay, I can try to find out for you. ATS, shoot me a message privately. Nano Sense wants to know if you have in-house financing.
No, so we don't have in-house financing, but we have a partnership with First Regional Credit Union. They have actually developed a very attractive package where persons can pay it down as little as 5%. And I think their interest rate right now is 8.95. Right. So the First Regional Credit Union has a good package.
Not bad. Garth is pointing out concerns about the area. He says no restaurants, no decent supermarkets, healthcare, bank. St. Thomas has years to go. What about those concerns? You always hear St. Thomas is the forgotten parish. They don't even have no KFC.
Yeah, well, as I said, to the front of the Suncoast project, there will be all those things that he mentioned, except there won't be a bank, but there will definitely be an ATM machine. But we have taken into consideration all those things, considering that we're first in line for looking to develop the area. So, but I'm sure by phase 2 completed, there are several players who are coming along, and the area will be totally transformed. It will not be anything like it is now. It just come like when the highway was just done on the way to St. Anne. Initially it seemed as if it's a deserted place, but look at it now. It's fully developed, and you can barely afford the places down there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Next question, Graham wants to know who's the architect and structural engineer.
Bizet Construction.
What's the name of the place?
Bizet.
Bizet?
B-I-Z-E-T, yes, Bizet Construction.
So Bizet. Somebody wanted to know their contact info. Guys, you know the name now, you can Google it, all right? Next, oh man, the questions keep coming. I'm only going to take a couple more. So next one is from Colette, who wants to know, any plans to list on the JSE?
Well, not right now, but it is a possibility because we have been getting that question quite a bit, with this significant development in St. Thomas. A lot of persons want to participate and benefit from, I guess, the profitability of it. But it's not something that I have on the table now, but it's something that I've been thinking about and I've been talking to my team about it because it's a question that has been keep on coming. But there's no immediate plans, but anything is possible as we progress.
Last question I'm going to take is from, who's this? Reese, who wants to know if Airbnb will be allowed.
Yeah, so Airbnb will be allowed, but it will be restricted to the rules of the HOA because while Airbnb is good in terms of, generating income for persons, it's also bad for when it's out of control. And, you don't want to invest all this money into a property and then your neighbor bringing in any and everybody to come and spend one night and be a nuisance to you when you should be being in your own comfort. So Airbnb is allowed, but it is under the guise of the HOA.
Okay, so once the homeowners come together, that will be after the units are sold. Presumably, they or you, if you are interested, will get to set the rules about what is allowed. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. I wish you much success with this project. Please invite us to the launch and, of course, to the opening next year. Give me a tour of the property, man, when it open. I want to
Oh,
see it.
definitely. So the grand opening is in the first week of December, and surely I'll be sending your invitation.
You shall be there. Thanks so much, Kevin. All the best.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay, so time now for tonight's poll question, which funny enough, we did not plan it this way. We did not, there was no shade. It just happened to be that these two things are happening around the same time. We contacted Kevin for the interview, and also iCreate is in the news. So, how do you feel that iCreate has resumed trading on the JSC? Here are your options. Tonight's poll question. A, everybody deserves a second chance. B, I sold my shares immediately. C, there is a lot of work to do, but they can do it. D, other, leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. You can also take this poll on YouTube, on the community tab, or on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. And you can leave your comments in the chat as well. Now, before we go to the break, I have a lot coming up in the next few weeks. I feel like I'm saying that all the time. Like, I love to move quickly. I get an idea, I move on it. So last week was the Money Mission launch, which was awesome. And we also have some stuff coming up in Money Mission on Instagram too. I just launched, I don't know if you guys, how many of you noticed that I started a broadcast channel. I'm kind of loving that feature of the broadcast channel. If you don't know what it is, it's a place for me to send you messages, keep you updated on what's going on in money news and with our publications as well. So far, I've been sending a lot of voice notes. I'm kind of liking that voice note feature of it. Maybe that's why so many of you are here this evening too. We have more viewers than usual, which is awesome. So check out the broadcast channel on the Instagram account. So what's coming up in Money Mission? Well, on our next edition of Ask Mike, that's actually coming up on October 30th. So what is it today? 17th. So Monday after next. Next Monday, we have Ask Kalila. So that's where you get the group consultations with me. And then the following Monday, October 30th, is Ask Mike with billionaire Michael Lee Chin. So you get to ask Michael Lee Chin a question. Make sure that you sign up to the Money Mission community because he's only taking 5 persons this time around. His time is limited. We're only doing 1 hour. So I have to limit the number of people who can ask those questions. Look out later this week for the official call coming from our newsletter. So make sure you're on the newsletter, KalilaReynolds.com/newsletter. So you see when we send out that call for applications to participate in Ask Mike. On November 6th, we also have a brand new masterclass launching, and that is called Money Marketing. It was originally scheduled for November 27th, But I realized that Black Friday is, what day is Black Friday? Black Friday is going to be the 23rd of November. And I wanted you to have some of these strategies available. We wanted you to learn some of these strategies before Black Friday, especially if you're a business owner, a small business owner, you're trying to take advantage of that holiday shopping period. I wanted to move the class up so that you would be able to implement these strategies in time for Black Friday and the start of the Christmas shopping season. So it's a 4-part series. It was originally supposed to be one single class, but when I started writing the outline, I realized, no, sir, I have a wealth of information. So part 1 is create. We're going to teach you how to create compelling content that gets you noticed on social media. Part 2 is all about growing. So the secrets to going viral. Part 3 is called money. And this is where we deal with working with partners, working with brands, knowing your contracts and that sort of thing. And then part 4 is called business, because this is where we really build your social media business. This is where you take advantage of all the followers that you got in parts 1, 2, and 3, and now are able to monetize by offering your own product and service to this community of people. So it's going to be awesome. Take it from me, because I'm the one preparing it, and everything I do is awesome. And I truly believe that. I laugh, but I'm serious as well. You know, it's gonna be pretty game changing. So show up on November 6th. It's offered as part of the Money Mission community. It's available for premium members, premium subscribers to the community. If you're a basic member, you will get to attend the live sessions. But if you miss it live, that's it. So the recordings will only be available for premium and for those who purchase the actual course as well. And it is tremendous value. So if you purchase premium, that alone is worth your money inside premium. So check it out at moneymission.mn.co. All right, guys, remember to hit the like button. Up next, we've got your market recap, and the analysts are standing by.
This segment of Taking Stock was brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, Insurance Made Easy.
Hey, moneymakers, join the KRM fam with our official merch. Get it now at KalilaReynolds.com. Let's get this money.
The JC Combined Index was mostly stable last week. 120 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week ending Friday, October 13, 2023. 61 made gains, 47 lost value, and 12 stayed the same. 197 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $744 million. JMMB 7.25% VRJMD CR preference shares was last week's most traded stock. It took up 35% of market volume with 70 million shares trading. The stock gained 3 cents to open the new week at $1.99. JFP traded at the second highest. The stock gained 4 cents to open this week at $1.47. And Mailpack rounded out last week's most traded with 12 million shares changing hands. The stock gained 2 cents to open Tuesday at $2.02. Now let's see who had the biggest gains for the week. Margaritaville Turks USD was the market's biggest gainer. The stock was up almost 37% to open Tuesday at 13 cents US. JMMB Group 7.25% had the second biggest gain last week. The stock was up 26% to close the week at $2.59. And Caribbean Cream was up 20% to open the week at $4.34. On the losing side now, ISP Finance Services was the week's biggest loser. The stock lost $13.09 to open Tuesday at $30.91. JPS 7% was the week's second biggest loser, opening the new week at $42. And iCrate resumed trading last week after being suspended for over a month. The stock lost 14% to close the week at 88 cents. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index was mostly stable last week. Massey Holdings was the most traded stock. The stock lost 10 cents to open the week at $4.77 TT. Guardian Media was the biggest gain of the week. The stock was up 14% to start the week at $2.30 TT. And on the losing side, LJ Williams fell 14% to open Monday at $2.09 TT. Over in the US, the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq were all up about 1% last week. Motorists scored a win at the pumps last week, with gas and diesel prices all falling $4.50. In foreign exchange, it took an average $156.33 Jamaican to purchase $1 last Friday. That's 85 cents more than the week before. Meanwhile, it took an average $114.95 Jamaican to purchase $1 Canadian. One British pound cost on average $193.36 Jamaican. And you could buy €1 for $167.23 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin prices rose 7% over the past 5 days, trading at $28,854 US on Monday, while Ethereum was up 3%, trading at $1,612 US on Monday. This segment of Taking Stock, The Analysts, is brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart. Disclaimer: this is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Welcome back. Before I introduce our analyst panel, let's take some comments. Earl says, enough work is needed for iCreate. I wonder if Dequity would take up the challenge. Kadeen will say, I noticed the offices of iCreate and Dollar are now side by side at New Kingston Business Center. I noticed that today. Roswell says, iCreate may just surprise many persons who don't like the stock. This one is in response to the St. Thomas development at Suncoast. NanoSense says, I bought into a development a few years back and built my house. However, the promised amenities aren't in place. And it was a question. Unfortunately, Kevin's gone now. What provisions are in place to ensure all the amenities are there? But that is a concern that, in previous times, home buyers have been burned. So, measure the risk with the reward. Christopher says, iCreate, crisis meets opportunity. I would definitely invest. Stock price should be taking a beating, but as they shore up the company, profits should begin to climb. Check them back in 2028. It's 5 years. Okay. No comment. Big Shack says, don't worry, people. Things will get better in St. Thomas. Development is on its way. Samantha says, C. What was C again? What were the options? Let me find them back. So A was everybody deserves a second chance. B, I sold my shares immediately. C, there's a lot of work to do, but they can do it. So Samantha says, C, I still have my shares. Kish says, A, everybody still deserves a second chance. Philip says, A and C. Still have your shares. Everybody deserves a second chance. Nicholas says he can't wait for the launch of the new course, Teach Us Money General. See you there on November 6th, Nicholas. Who else we have? NanoSen says, I don't care. I will not invest in that company. I don't trust all who are involved. Garth says, St. Thomas has a decade to go. Someone wants me to offer classes on options trading. Is not my specialty. It is something that I do want to offer, but I have to find an appropriate teacher for that course because I do not have specialty in options trading. And then Deco says Black Friday is not a Jamaica thing. That's US. Jesus Christ, what happened to Jamaica? So Deco stay there and feels that Jamaicans aren't participating in Black Friday sales. Stay there and think that Jamaicans are not participating in Black Friday opportunities online and getting the deals. Some people even flying to foreign to get the deals. And, as one of my mentors years ago said, when a lot of people are buying, you should have something to sell. And he told me that leading up to Christmas, Black Friday wasn't even a thing yet because I was probably in my early 20s at the time. And he said, when people are buying, have something to sell. And that's when I had one of my earliest business ventures was a book that I wrote. And I started selling my book. And I made sure I sold them right around Christmas time because people were looking for gifts to buy. And same thing happening here. Black Friday, to me, is simply the launch of the Christmas shopping season. A lot of people, including Jamaicans, are going to be buying things, are going to be in prime spending mode. So have something to sell. If you're a business owner, even if you're not, there's a little time to develop something to sell in time for Black Friday. Take advantage of the opportunity before you. All right, time now to introduce our analyst panel, and I'm joined by investment research and sovereign risk analyst at JMMB, Leovani Dillon, and business journalist at the Jamaica Observer, David Rose. Welcome back, Leo and David.
Night, Kalila.
Night, Kalila. Good night, David.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at a company that I find very interesting, and that is Knutsford Express. So quite a bit has been going on with them, and their first quarter results are out. I'm expecting good numbers, but you give us the news, Leo.
All right. So Knutsford Express came out with numbers recently, as I said, first quarter, indeed, August 2023. All right. So if I can just share my screen here, we'll just go through it. So if you look back a bit, you can see that they've, going back to 2019. So for context, their year end is May, right? Now, when you go back to then, you can see that they had 188.5 million. Fast forward to May 2023, you're looking at $304 million, right? So
you have to zoom in on these numbers, Leo.
Oh, yeah. So you can see that there's an overall improvement in the profitability, right? Now, if you look on, as you just mentioned, the most recent quarter, what you're seeing in that quarter is that you're seeing an improvement in profitability, but it's marginal. So it's just a 2.3% profit. The revenue growth is a lot more impressive at around 18.5%. Now, the major thing that kind of held them back was the growth in expenses. So that went up over 20%. Now, one of the reasons that might have drove that was increase in staff costs. Now, part of the reason that I put on that is that they're increasing staff to help with their expectation for increased demand for their product in order to drive the customer experience. So, I mean, as it is right now on the surface, it doesn't look that good, meaning profits of 2%. But if you look at it in context, though, through history, that quarter, that first quarter number was actually pretty good. So marginal improvement over the same period last year, but overall, it's still a big one for them. Now, if you look on their balance sheet now over the time, you can see that that steadily improves. If you look on first the total assets, you can see that that steadily improved over the period. So you can see the growth there and that. You can see similar things showing up, similar pattern on their non-current assets, their current assets. Similar, look at dip here in 2021, but still overall improvement that you're seeing for them. And when you fast forward and you look on their equity, you're seeing a similar trend. So it fell a bit here, which coincides with the fall off in profitability in 2020 and 2021. And of course, a lot of that was because of COVID. And we can see again, they're fully recovered from that and then some, right? Putting record numbers for them for the financial year. If you look on the cash flows now, operating cash flow, that's very strong too. So that's the highest that you see over these 5 years here. So 435.1 million. So that's also looking good for them, right? If you look in the most recent quarter, it's a 15% increase in operating cash flow, which is good. That's something you want to see. Because remember with companies, these financial companies, at the end of the day, cash is king. So when you're seeing that kind of strength in the operating cash flows in particular, that's very good for the long-term viability of the company. Now, I'm just going to look on a few ratios here, because I don't have time to go through all of them. So when you look on these ratios, you're seeing the current ratio at the top here. Now, that one is up for them. So you see, over the period, it's been in excess of 1 times, which is something that you want to see. Matter of fact, the lowest that you have here is 1.5, and currently it's at 2.2. So what that's really saying is that their current assets is more than 2 times their current liabilities. So you can see that any near-term obligations that they might have, they can easily solve that with the current assets that they have, clearly covering those current liabilities. If you look on the debt to equity, which is one of the measures that you can use to look at the solvency of the company, that's also very low. Now that's positive, because if you understand it's debt over equity in the equation, so what that means when the number is low is that the equity of the company exceeds its debt. So that puts them in a strong position. So if they were supposed to go out, try and borrow money, increase your debt load, they could. And they could possibly do so at a very favorable rate because of the current structure of this. Now, when I say favorable, it's relative because, everybody's paying higher interest rates in this market, but it's just that they might be on the lower end of those higher interest rates because of its current structure. So that's if they want to do it. And then if you look on their ROE, that's very strong, 33.7%. And for context, if you look on the broader junior market, the average is around 11%. So that's very strong in terms of their ROE, and of course, strong net profit margins and so forth. So now moving on, let's take a quick look on the performance of the company. All right, so the performance of the stock, sorry. So what we're seeing is that it's up 42.4% year to date. Now that's way above the junior market, which is actually down about 2.5% for the year. So that's very good. If you zoom out a bit, you can see that this company has done well for investors over the years. There's 3 years, 20 calendar years, 2018. I don't know if I have to zoom this a bit. 2018 to 2020, when the stock wasn't doing so hot. So those years it was down 13, 18, and 36%. Right? But other than that, the stock has basically been a winner every calendar year for investors. So of course you can understand. The reason why I like to bring up this chart is for investors to get an understanding of how performance can vary over time. So for example, with any stock, it will have its bad years, and if you're in the market at the time, it might stand out in your head as, boy, I don't like stocks, and I buy nothing because it's too risky, all of my money burn up. But the thing is, when you look at it on a longer time frame, you can get an appreciation for, yes, there's volatility, but there's also you can get strong rewards associated with that volatility. Again, you practice proper portfolio management, you mix that with diversification, you can actually get some good results from the stock market. Again, of course, we know this year isn't the best for the stock market, but the stock in broader, in general, what you can see, when you invest in stock. Then on here, same chart, same stock, but just in a different perspective, we can see that the stock kind of peaked out back in like calendar year 2017, fell off significantly, going into COVID and all of that, and it's recovered. Not all of it, but it's recovered quite a bit for investors there. All right, so moving on to the trading activity, not a very liquid stock. So basically, if you're a very high net worth individual, institutional investor, this is gonna be difficult to trade, because what you're seeing here, the average traded daily value traded is less than $500,000. So you're looking at probably like $350,000. So you can understand high net worth individuals, institutional investors, small retail client, that might not be a trouble for them, because they might, when they diversify, size for them. So that's fine. So moving on, you're looking at the valuation, price to earnings ratio is around 20 times currently. Average over the last year is about 20 times. Now, this is a little bit above the junior market. The harmonic mean on the junior market now is around 17x. It's a little bit above that, but again, as I alluded to earlier, the ROE on this company is very strong compared to the overall market. So that the marginal premium in the PE may be justified based off that. So that's basically it. So all in all, it's a good number. It's not great in terms of the return, in terms of the increase, but if you look at it on a holistic standpoint, which is very important, you can see that it's really strong in terms of the balance sheet, cash flows, the profitability of the company. It's really good. And of course, the stock price performance year to date has been brilliant. Not very liquid, so that's kind of summing up everything here. So it's not very liquid, but that's the case as it is. So yeah, so that's it. So,
I was actually expecting it to be somewhat better, given how robust tourism has been this year.
Yeah, the tourism did contribute to the strength, but again, they're coming off a very strong August 2022. So tourism was also strong then. So remember, this is the trick when it comes to companies' performance, is that whenever you put up good performance, in one way, you kind of make it harder for yourself, because what happens when you put up good performance, you get a lot of clients, you get booming business, is that you have to repeat that and then some the next year in order to look good again. So if you look on the previous year, if you look on August 2022 compared to August 2021, that was pretty good. But then because August 2022 was such a good number, their ability to exceed that now in August 2023 is very difficult. So the fact that they can even meet it is decent. You have to give them kudos for that. But
Gotcha.
like a 50% increase of that number, I mean, it's possible, but it's hard. So that's one of the things that I always caution investors against. When you see a company growing rapidly, like 1 year profits up 100%, next year it's up like 150%, and then people start pricing it as if that rate of return is going to continue into perpetuity. I think that's not wise, because especially if that company does like really good growth after 2-3 years, them flattening out on the third year is almost a guarantee. Them even declining is even possible, because when you put up those kind of growth, unless you're coming from a really low base, like negative profitability or like a COVID type scenario, it's really hard to keep putting up those numbers. So yes, the drug salt is working out for them, but that was in last year's numbers too. The tourism is working out for them. Of course, the transportation or the packages, that's working out for them. But that was also true the same Q1 last year. So yeah, so that's the dilemma.
What's interesting too is that we just saw some news in the transportation industry. We saw where buses and taxis have gotten a fare increase. Well, taxis in particular have gotten a fare increase. So do you think this will impact Knutsford in any way, or it's just two different markets?
Yeah, I think it's more two different markets. I don't think their pricing would be that would be impacted by that. Yeah, I don't foresee it being a material having a material impact on their business, because it's a completely different market segment in terms of their customer base versus the
Right.
regular.
So Sean has a question. Sean wants to know, why is Knutsford so afraid to give out dividends? 9 years, just one dividend. Why is that?
I don't think it's not. No, I don't
Not
think that.
true?
No, I don't think that's true. I think not sure when they declared the last one, to be honest. But I know that they have paid historically though. Because if you look on their cash flow statements, at least going back to May 2020, there might be a more recent one, but I know at least going back to them, in terms of that financial year, they did pay a dividend, $40 million. I don't know how much I work out per share, I could calculate it. But yeah, they have paid those. So it's not 9 years of not paying dividends. You could argue that the dividend yield isn't great, but I don't think you can say they haven't paid any
So
Okay.
Leo,
dividends.
Knutsford Express declared a dividend of 13 cents and paid it out on the 20th of September. That was $65 million. And
This year?
Yeah, that
September
declared.
this went, Kalila, September 29th this went. They just paid a dividend of 13 cents per share, which
Oh,
is
wow.
$65 million. May multiply it out.
Okay, yeah, so that's actually higher than 2020. So I mean, yeah, so I guess
So Sean, you're late, man. You missed the dividend last month.
yeah.
And for context, Kalila, my first dividend was actually Knutsford Express all the way back in 2016. So this other company isn't paying dividends, but context, Knutsford Express would have been listed on in January 2014. So next year, in 10 years, they'll be on the JSE. After context is the fact that 2020, 21, 22, they were not in a financial position to even consider a dividend, because they'd arrested the Draxall project, and they'd have had to also continue on the US operations and the slowdown and decrease in activity. So those 3 years, they were in place to really pay the dividends. So before COVID, like, it was stable and consistent, but after COVID came, they had to really recalibrate and just get back on track.
Right. And Javon is noting that too. Knutsford was operating at a loss. It's just bouncing back, hence the reason it wasn't paying dividends. Speaking of dividends, NCB is in the news again. And one of their promises was to resume paying dividends. They have an EGM, an extraordinary general meeting, coming up on Halloween, ironically, October 31. Give us the details, David. What's expected to be discussed?
Hopefully they don't scare us, but so the board had approved, the issuance of up to 300 million shares back in early September, and we've seen the proposed resolutions for this EGM. Why is it an EGM? AGM is once a year. Anything outside of the AGM is an extraordinary general meeting. So 300 million shares is the initial target amount, and then they've also included an upsize provision which allows them to actually issue an extra 150 million shares if that 300 million share target is actually achieved. So you're looking at somewhere between probably 18 to 27 billion Jamaican dollars if you're assuming a price of $6 JMD. Don't know, when that API is actually going to come into play, but the thing is, once you get that shareholder approval around October 31, it's probably come up by December, January, earlier or in the early period, and it'll be interesting to see how the offer actually takes up, because there are two things that the chairman Michael Lee Chin actually mentioned in the letter to shareholders. It's actually posted in the TTSC and the JSC, and it was in both newspapers, both in Jamaica and also in Trinidad. So it says NCBFG seeking to raise additional additional capital by way of the APO in this context. One, the NCB Group is a unique, diversified, and powerful regional financial services conglomerate that enjoys many competitive advantages and which has performed well on many metrics, including profitability. Certain capital recalibration strategies are being pursued to put NCBFG on a path to bolster the group's financial health, and this should be further enhanced based on the value to come from the use of proceeds of the APO. The ongoing development of the group's financial health in this way is expected to support NCBFG's progress towards once again providing consistent return to shareholders. So we've heard that they're planning to pay down debt, really at the company level. So I'm looking forward to see how this capital raise, based on the eventual final uptake, will actually flip the script for the holding company and give it that position to really going back to looking at dividends again. Because one thing that I believe they need to really clarify and address to people is the money that NCB Global Holdings, which is the intermediate subsidiary that holds Guardian Holdings shares, is that money really getting live to reach Jamaica? Because that's apparently part of the problem, that you can observe from the financials, which is while you're seeing that those large dividend payments from GHL, you're not seeing that same amount of upstream from that subsidiary up to NCBFG's bank account. So that's a serious thing that they need to address, because we just probably cut the US availability and credit cards in Trinidad. Perhaps there weren't issues down there. So even if they're able to recalibrate and be in a position to get that capital from NCBJ to pay NCBFG shareholders, it still begs the question, as to the capital flows that should come from Clarion Group and Guardian Holdings to the parent, to really enhance the flavor for shareholders. Because I'm sure if the capital was flowing from Clarion and Guardian on a straight line basis up to NCB Financial Group, we're still making dividends today, despite everything that's going on.
So who can vote at this EGM on the 31st, David?
Once you're a shareholder, you can vote. I don't remember seeing a record date specifically for the EGM, but considering T+2, if you're on the JSC, or T+3 in Trinidad, you would have to be a shareholder ahead of the X date. So October 31 is a Tuesday, which means that you would have had to purchase probably by the Thursday to really show up on record on the 30th, basically, before the actual meeting date. So basically on a Thursday, which would be the 26th of October if you're buying on the JSC, and the 25th if you're buying on the TTSC. Even if you don't want to share, you can still vote.
Only? Is it
No, it's actually virtual only.
Virtual only.
Yep, that's NCB style since COVID.
Okay. Well, shareholders, NCB, anyone interested in this company, you got your information. By the way, as you mentioned, Guardian Holdings and the foreign exchange issues with Trinidad and getting the dividends out. We want to, if we have any viewers right now in Trinidad who have the hookup, we've been trying to get your finance minister on this show. So if
Oh,
anybody
call him
has-
Imbert.
yeah, Combe Imbert, just send out the call and let him know that Taking Stock wants him on the show. All right. Well, thank you
Well,
so much, David. Thank you, Leo. A great show as usual.
thanks again, Khalil. I was gonna say probably you need to ask Kamla to make a comment and come with the show up out of nowhere, you know? You know, like how they
How
say,
it goes. That's
so
true.
somebody name her 3 times and they'll show up. Say Kamla, mention comes name 3 times and hopefully it comes on Taking Stock.
Well, she'd have to mention it 3 times on the show. That might be.
To be honest, Khalil, I'm just looking forward to see, how the rest of this month and year plays out. It's been a lot going on, and let's see what other developments come out.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again, David. Thanks, Leo. We're going to take our final break, a very
Right.
quick one, and come back with last comments.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analyst, was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
Attention! Are you struggling with money? Trying to figure out how to pay off your credit cards? Are you ready to learn how to invest and grow your money? I'm Khalila Reynolds, the Money General, and I'm on a mission to help you get better with money. Join me inside the Money Mission community where I'll teach you how to manage money, make more money, and annihilate bad debt. Click the link in the description to sign up for your basic or premium membership. Let's get this money.
I took Khalila's Investing for Beginners masterclass because I heard there was an IPO launching and I just jumped right into it.
Help you to know how to invest and the steps they can go to achieve your goals as well.
If it is that y'all are interested in learning about investments or anything, I really suggest that you hop on that class, that masterclass, because the way that I look at money now and saving, I look at it different now.
Khalila, you're the reason Marshall Brown started investing.
Learn the basics about stock market investing today. Investing for Beginners is available on demand or with a premium membership to the Money Mission community. Join now at moneymission.mn.co. The link is in the description. All right. Last comments now. Jermaine says, I love the idea at Suncoast. The empath says, iCreate has lost its credibility. I don't see how it will scale after this. Sean wants me to give him an idea for something to sell on Black Friday. Sean, meet me in Ask Khalila next week, Monday, the 23rd, 7 o'clock. That is where I give my, consultations. You can pick my brain. And so I had some questions for you about this, about, what would you be interested in potentially selling? What potential products or services could you offer? But that's a discussion we can have in Ask Khalila. So hopefully I see you inside the Money Mission on October 23 for our next group session. Sean, do you have any other comments? I saw a few. Javon says, I agree. Once the market picks up again, some stocks may not be affordable anymore. Sean Brown says, Knutsford paid out dividends. 5 dividends from my records, not 1. Sorry. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. For those of you who showed up last week at the Money Mission launch, I appreciate you still. We've got lots more to come. It's going to be quite a year. Tomorrow, I actually head to New Orleans. So moneymakers, if any of you are there, link up. Send me an email. Send me a DM on Instagram. Link up for FinCon is where I'm going to be, which is downtown New Orleans. It's on Canal Street. So I'm going to be at FinCon for the next few days, leaving tomorrow. And if any of you are there, want to do a quick meet and greet and say hi, DM me and maybe we can link it up in New Orleans. That ought to be fun. I'm actually speaking at that event on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a presentation about writing scripts for social media, how that can save you a whole lot of time in production for those of you who've been trying to stay consistent on social media but you don't like recording because every minute you make a mistake. I have to start over. These strategies that I'm going to teach on Saturday at FinCon will help you with that. And then on November 6th inside the Money Mission community, I'm going to expand on that. So we have money marketing, which has 4 portions or 4 planks, 4 pillars: create, grow, money, business. And it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be life-changing. I will say that right now. The things that I have learned over the past 4 years can take your business to the next level. A lot of people struggle to grow on social media, but then even if you have grown, a lot of people with a lot of followers don't know how to sell on social media. They don't know how to convert those followers to customers. And that is going to be the pillar, the main message in money marketing, which starts on November 6th inside the Money Mission community. Reminding you again to subscribe to the newsletter at KalilaReynolds.com/newsletter, because you want to be the first to get the notification when we send out the call for applications for Ask Mike. And who is the Mike in question? None other than Michael Lee Chin, who is doing his second mentorship session with us on October 31. That's going to be live on YouTube, but we will pre-select the 5 people who will get an opportunity to ask Mike a question. And those 5 people this time around must be a part of the Money Mission community. So be on the newsletter and be in the community. And we're only doing it this way because, like we said, by his request, we can only do 5 people this time around. I think that's one of the most fair ways to pre-select the people. All right, what else do we have? What else do I need to tell you? Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Kalila Ray. Remember, that's my only account. I don't have any other accounts. So if you see any others, please report them. They're spam. They're scammers, actually. Don't give them any money. Don't give them any personal information. If you want to connect with the analysts this week, David or Leo, check the description box below for their contact information. And you can also visit KalilaReynolds.com for financial information you can use however you like it. Watch this video. Listen to the podcast version. We're on all podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think we're on Audible too. No, Audible is on the audiobooks. But a whole bunch of them all over the place. Or you can also read the articles associated with, basically gives you a summary of the show. What else? Tell a friend about taking stock, because investing is the new sexy. So let's make it cool to talk about money. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Thanks for watching and see you next week.
Let's get this money.